Imagine the sheer audacity. You arrive in Las Vegas, the supposed capital of entertainment, only to be ambushed by $60 check-in fees, a staggering $50 resort fee, and an insulting $25 for a single cocktail. As one outraged Redditor warned, "This is exactly why we're forced to sleep in our cars." This isn't some accident. It's a calculated war by the casinos to purge the middle class. And the numbers are a bloodbath. Visitor counts plummeted by 11.3% in June alone. That's 400,000 people who vanished, plunging Vegas into its most catastrophic tourism crisis in modern history. Let's unmask this horror. First, the strategy of deliberate exclusion. The CEO of Caesars Entertainment, Tom Reeg, confessed with chilling frankness during a 2023 analyst call, "You're kicking out the lowest end. I see no reason that needs to stop or would stop." I want you to truly absorb the gravity of that statement. The head of one of the planet's largest casino empires openly boasted about their intentional campaign to drive away their own customers. Second, the cold-blooded murder of Vegas magic. Do you even remember a time when Vegas was a spectacle for all, not just the elite? When any family could witness the awe-inspiring eruption of the Mirage volcano for free, or be thrilled by the pirate wars at Treasure Island. A warning, those days are dead and buried. The legendary Mirage volcano, a beacon of wonder for visitors since 1989, was brutally demolished in August 2024, all to erect a soulless, guitar-shaped tower for Hard Rock. On its final, tragic night, desperate crowds swarmed the sidewalks, clamoring to witness one last flicker of authentic Vegas history before it was extinguished forever. But the volcano was not the only victim. Treasure Island's legendary pirate shows, first the Battle of Buccaneer Bay, and later the Sirens of Ti, which captivated millions for over 20 years, were unceremoniously executed back in 2013. These were never just shows. They were the very soul of the city. Free spectacles that generated the electric, vibrant atmosphere that made the high roller experience feel special in the first place. Now, even smaller pockets of joy are being systematically erased. Marvel's Avengers Station at Treasure Island was permanently shut down on January 1, 2024, leaving behind yet another hollowed-out shell, where wonder used to thrive. Third, the sickening obsession with the super-rich. So, who are these casinos shamelessly pandering to now? They're called the whales. Gamblers who burn through millions in a single sitting, like the Australian billionaire James Packer, who casually cycles through multi-million-dollar bets at the Bellagio and the Venetian, or the infamous Floyd Mayweather, whose appetite for gambling is nothing short of voracious. The treatment these VIPs receive is a decadent fantasy that spits in the face of the common person. Private jet and helicopter transfers, chauffeured fleets of high-end vehicles like Rolls-Royces or Bentleys, and opulent penthouse suites and villas so exclusive, many are available by invite only, forever locked away from the public. But here is the truly dirty, rotten secret they pray you never learn. According to John Idmo's damning book, Legalized Gambling, America's Bad Bet, it is the hard-earned money from America's lower and lower middle classes that actually fuels the entire gambling machine, not the high rollers. In a move of staggering self-sabotage, Vegas is aggressively banishing its most vital customers. Fourth, the predatory price gouging strategy. How are they methodically pushing you out? The list of offenses is long and infuriating, beginning with resort fees that have absolutely exploded. MGM Resorts jacked up their resort fees by another $3 to $8 per night in December 2024. That was their second vicious hike in a single year. These parasitic fees now average a punishing $40 to $55 a night, and that's a tax maliciously piled on top of room rates that have already soared into the stratosphere. And then there are the rigged games. Industry watchdogs are sounding the alarm that blackjack tables, offering a pathetic 6-to-5 payout instead of the fair traditional 3-to-2 ratio, have now become the corrupt and common standard infecting the entire length of the Strip. It means your $10 bet, once a shot at a decent $5 win, now insults you with a meager $2 when you hit 21. And then there's the sheer audacity of their astronomical food and drink prices. The horror stories are flooding in from shell-shocked visitors, with Reddit users exposing the scandalous reality of things like $50 bottles of water. We're talking $25 for a simple cocktail and a staggering $30 for pancakes. As one Redditor laid it bare, $25 drinks, $30 pancakes, $35 burgers. And the final slap in the face? They still expect a tip. Who in their right mind wants to hand over another 20% on top of that already grotesquely overpriced swill? Number 5. The devastating human toll. These aren't just numbers, these are real stories from the front lines of corporate greed. Take Holly Lang, a 47-year-old cocktail waitress at the MGM Grand, whose livelihood is being bled dry. She warns, "My tips have plummeted, a fraction of what they used to be." The halls are emptier, she says. The foot traffic has vanished, and the gambling floors are becoming ghost towns. Another server's chilling report confirms the crisis. Their tip income was slashed in half compared to last summer, all thanks to predatory upselling and soulless, cookie-cutter restaurants. It's a calculated assault on genuine hospitality. A waitress on the Strip took to TikTok, her voice trembling with desperation, recalling, "This time last year, I was making $300 to $500 in tips. Today, I walked away with a pathetic $124. And it's not just the staff who are suffering. The tourists are absolutely incensed. One guest at the Flamingo was ambushed with an outrageous $60 surcharge for early check-in, a hidden fee tacked onto a room they'd already fully paid for. His furious tweet exposing the scam went viral, echoing the anger of thousands. Number 6. The numbers are in, and they paint a terrifying picture. This entire strategy is imploding in a spectacular fashion. Hotel occupancy has already plunged by 2.1 percentage points, down to a worrying 78.9%. The average daily room rates have cratered by 5.5%, down to $185.24. Even worse, revenue per available room has nosedived by a disastrous 7.6%. But here is the most damning indictment of all. Net income for Strip casinos absolutely crashed by 40.4% in 2024, even as their total revenue climbed by 6.2%. Let that sink in for a moment. The casinos raked in more money than ever, yet their actual profits collapsed by a staggering 40%. This isn't just bad business, it is the very definition of a system on the brink of collapse. Number 7. The grim reality of the property tax fallout. Here's the dirty secret the casino executives are desperately trying to hide. While the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority boasted a record $382.7 million in room taxes for fiscal 2024, a seemingly impressive 8.1% increase, the truth is far darker. Because behind closed doors, officials are bracing for a massive slowdown in 2025, frantically cutting their budgets. A full 34% of Clark County's room tax, the lifeblood of the LVCVA, is now in jeopardy. And the rest of that money? It's supposed to fund public education and fix our roads. The very fabric of the community is at risk. The city is already staring down a $110 million budget deficit, with tax revenues projected to fall by 5.6% to $418 million. And make no mistake, when tourism dies, everyone pays the price. Your public services get slashed, and your local taxes skyrocket. Number 8. The stadium analogy that lays their entire failed strategy bare. Picture a massive NFL stadium, but the only people inside are sequestered in the luxury boxes, while tens of thousands of seats below them sit cold and empty. Now, ask yourself, how long would those wealthy few continue paying a premium to sit in a silent, soulless void they themselves have to animate? That right there is the catastrophic reality unfolding in Las Vegas. Meanwhile, casinos that cater to locals are seeing revenue surges of up to 50%, while the Strip withers. The reason is painfully simple. They haven't forgotten that volume, energy, and atmosphere are everything. As one user on Reddit so perfectly stated, they broke the sacred compact with the common man. The deal was always understood. You knew you were going to lose the money you brought to gamble, but in return, you were guaranteed a decent meal and a clean room. You had access to a pool. That promise, that entire social contract, has been utterly shattered. As one local lamented, "I used to love going to the Strip, but the very soul of fun is being bled dry, nickel and dimed into oblivion by the casinos." And don't be fooled by nickel. We're talking a staggering $25. And by dimes, they mean even more. A local resident hit the nail on the head, exposing the cancer of monopolization. Vegas was ruined the moment MGM and Caesars devoured everything. These corporate behemoths are a plague on the city, and while they'll blame the pandemic for gutting what was left, the truth is far more sinister. Remember when the Peppermill never closed? That 24-hour Vegas pulse? It's been silenced. The alarm bells are now being rung from inside the beast itself. An employee from one of the major casino empires bravely posted this chilling confession. "I am an unwilling cog in one of these greedy corporate machines," they confessed, "and I'm watching them systematically destroy our city from the inside out." Can you believe the sheer audacity? VPs and executives are pocketing fat bonuses, rewarded for slashing services to the bone while jacking up prices to levels that are nothing short of extortion. "The soulless entity I work for," they continued, "has even axed most of the live entertainment, the very heartbeat of Vegas, and is now just leasing out the empty husks of stages to squeeze out every last drop of profit." Number 9. The vultures are circling. As Vegas arrogantly prices itself into irrelevance, its rivals are smelling blood in the water and moving in for the kill. The lifeblood of the city, the everyday tourist, is now fleeing, seeking refuge in the small desert towns that lie just beyond the shadow of Vegas's greed. In these oases, newly revitalized resorts and affordable casinos are welcoming the very people Vegas has cast aside, while Atlantic City shamelessly promotes itself as the smarter, budget-friendly option. Meanwhile, destinations like Napa Valley and Cabo San Lucas are launching their own attacks, offering experiences that utterly demolish Vegas's pathetic value proposition. One travel agent laid out the grim reality with brutal honesty. When a trip to an all-inclusive resort in Mexico costs less than a weekend in Las Vegas, you're going to choose Mexico. Every single time. Vegas, once the crown jewel of travel, is now an afterthought. Hardly anyone even asks for it anymore. The diagnosis is terminal. Their greed simply consumed them. And at number 10, we see the contagion has gone global. This is the international exodus. Vegas's biggest international lifeline, the Canadian market, is now recoiling in disgust, with countless Canadians tearing up their travel plans to the United States. And it's not just the prices. A volatile political climate is only fanning the flames of this mass departure. Report after damning report confirms a catastrophic collapse in international spending, with a staggering loss estimated between $12 billion and $29 billion. This shameful decline makes the United States a global pariah, one of the only major economies witnessing its tourism industry bleed out so spectacularly. But this is the part of the story the casino executives have been praying you'd never uncover, the dark secret behind the curtain. You see, this isn't just a story of greed, it's a story of pure, unadulterated desperation. The younger generations are abandoning these gaudy mausoleums for online gambling, as one expert chillingly observed. Young people today have 40 different ways to gamble right on their phones, without ever leaving their couch. In 2024, the U.S. online gambling market exploded to a colossal $12.68 billion, a direct assault on the very foundation of Vegas's crumbling empire. So what was their brilliant response? Innovation? Adaptation? Number. They chose to double down, tightening their grip and squeezing every last cent from the loyal customers they still had left. Do you want to see the real-world carnage? As of March 2025, a paltry 8 all-you-can-eat buffets survive on the entire Strip, a ghost of the dozens that thrived just a few years ago. And the few that remain? They have the nerve to charge double, even triple the price for a shadow of their former quality. The buffet was the great Vegas equalizer, a sacred space where a construction worker from Ohio could dine like a king next to a millionaire from Manhattan. Now, that beautiful democratic tradition has been murdered by corporate greed. Even the academics are sounding the death knell. Professor Stephen Miller from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, forecasts a slow, painful contraction through 2026, issuing a stark warning that the city's inflated gaming revenue is on a collision course with the grim reality of pre-pandemic levels. This is happening as people's savings evaporate, and their spending money vanishes back to where it was before the world turned upside down. And in the meantime, the clock is ticking for Las Vegas. The casualties are mounting as small, long-standing businesses are being systematically erased. Take the Poker Palace, a family-owned casino that was a pillar of North Las Vegas since 1974. It has been forced to announce its permanent death sentence, scheduled for October of 2025, callously casting aside 126 loyal employees. This is the precipice. Vegas now faces a devastating choice. Will it continue its reckless pursuit of whales while the very ocean of its patrons dries up? Or will it remember the soul that once made it legendary? It seems a few industry leaders are finally, belatedly, waking up. Tourism consultant Desiree Stokes-Bloom pleaded for a moratorium on the predatory resort fees, a desperate bid to reignite interest in a dying southern Nevada. Yet, in a pathetic display of inaction, only Resorts World Las Vegas has bothered to eliminate these fees so far. The Nevada Gaming Control Board is now considering rule changes, not for the people, but to lower the financial barrier for private gaming salons, creating more flexible playgrounds for the elite. Critics are sounding the alarm, warning this just carves out more exclusive havens for the wealthy. But real change demands confronting a truth so fundamental it's in every single economics textbook. You cannot build a sustainable future on the ashes of the very customer base you have systematically alienated and destroyed. So I'm asking you directly, have you been a victim of this Vegas price gouging firsthand? On your last visit, did you watch in horror as attractions vanished and prices spiraled into the stratosphere? Share your harrowing stories in the comments below, because your real-world experiences are infinitely more important than any sterilized corporate earnings report. And if you refuse to be kept in the dark about how our major destinations are being corrupted and what it truly means for travelers like us, then you must subscribe to Broken Foundations. We are here to tear down the wall of corporate spin and show you the ugly truth of what's really happening to America's iconic destinations. So what's the final verdict? Is Vegas committing a slow and agonizing suicide by chasing only the highest rollers? Or is this just their grim surrender to a new economic reality? I need to know what you think. Let me know in the comments.